Illimar, really nice to meet you guys here aqui em Portugal.
Thank you, Bruno.
Thank you so much.
Bom dia.
Bom dia, Illimar. Illimar speaks a little bit Portuguese. Bruno...
Eu falo mais ou menos.
Yeah. First of all, really thanks for being here, okay?
Thank you for having me.
I know that you are a windsurfer and maybe a big wave surfer in the future. I will try to bring you to Nazareth. But anyway, Illimar, I want to know a little bit about your history. If you can introduce yourself and just explain us how you get here, like with Tickmill and everything.
Okay, so thanks for having me once again here. And so I originally come from Estonia. So those of the viewers who don't know, Estonia is in the Northern Europe. So we are next to Finland, Sweden, Norway. And I come from a very small village, which has less than 3,000 inhabitants. So it's very, very small. You know, we have one shop there, and it's still small. You know, and I started to look into the financial markets when I was probably 15 years old, and it was the impact I got from watching first time the movie The Wall Street. You know, with
the first one.
The first one, like,
okay.
And I remember, like, so I was sitting in our apartment there in this village, and then from the TV you could see that Michael Douglas in the center of New York in this office, which was like, you know, bigger than the whole apartment building we were living in, and you know, this phone ringing, the other phone ringing, you know. That guy calling from Tokyo, from Singapore, all of these like ticker tables, and it just looked so good, and I always kind of wanted to, you know, do something bigger, and this kind of seemed to me like the opportunity to eventually get out of the village, and so I had really big impact from that. And from that on, it was like a logical way forward. So probably the same month, I asked my mother that, listen, there's like one business newspaper in Estonia. Could you do a subscription to this newspaper? And she was happy to do that. So in our village, there were like 2 subscribers to this
you and your brother
to this daily newspaper, business newspaper. One was the owner of the only shop in the village, and the other subscriber was our mother. And then what happened? So every day after the school, you know, school finished, everybody, all my fellow students were excited that, you know, to go and play some football or watch TV or anything like that. I was really excited to go home and take this daily business newspaper, and I just started reading a lot, and I read the news. I started like thinking, okay, why this specific company is having success, why the other doesn't. I familiarized myself with like business people in Estonia, outside as well. And there were like banks published balance sheets on the pages of this newspaper. So I was like cutting them out from the newspaper and starting to like clue them in my notebook and checked every month after the month. Okay, what are the changes from the previous month? What's happening? And try to connect these changes in the balance sheet or with the news that were happening, and with the changes in the stock market as well, because a lot of these banks companies were listed on the Estonian stock market. And then when I finished the high school, I went to the university. My mother got loan from the bank to pay for the first year of the university. It was a private business university in Estonia. It's still operating, and I was so bad son. I took half of this loan and opened a brokerage account with one of the banks there, and bought stocks.
Okay.
And those of your viewers who don't know this era, like how it happened at that time was that you physically went to the bank office. You told to the teller that, listen, I want to buy this specific stock. The teller would then go to the central office of that bank, and she had to wait like half an hour to get a quotation for this stock. At the same time, I was sitting in this bank office waiting for this price, So, and then the bank teller would come to me and say that, listen, the price of this stock is like this. Do you want to take it?
Oh, okay.
and I had like no reference point. Like, was it good price, bad price? Like, what is it? I said, yeah, it's good price. Let's take it.
Just take it.
It's like, and today, your listeners, viewers as well, you have so many tools. Like, you have real-time market data. You have like platforms where you can chart this way, that way, the charts, like hundreds of indicators, thousands of algorithms that you can buy and test on the market. And at that time, it was so much like different. You didn't have anybody to consult with, any like mentor or anybody. Today, your community, they have you, and at that time, it was like just struggle all the way up the hill,
What about you, Bruno? When you started, do you still have...
Now, when I started, it was interesting because it was 2004. So at that time, we had like just screens in the desk, but I couldn't check the price because I didn't have a mouse. So it was like the boss in one side, and I just see what he wants me to see.
Okay.
So it was just those prices, and if you want to trade, okay, it was a client in one side and the trader in the ground floor in the other side.
Okay.
And I was in the middle. So it was like that. So it was very, very hard because it was a lot of pressure and a lot of sounds everywhere. So you had to do, it was not 100% offline, but not 100% online.
All right. Okay. First time that I saw the financial market was kind of, not like Illimar, but kind of. I just look at it and say, okay, like not the same story, but almost the same story. Like not that small village, but a small city in Brazil. And I was like, okay, medium to low class family. And I was like, okay, I need something that I can do to be rich. Like this is, I always say that my ultimate goal was like, get rich until 30, stop working and just surfing.
I had the same. Exactly the same.
But really, but it's nice to see that other people just start with the same kind of drive. Like, okay, I want to change my life. And just, Bruno, I know that you all also like travel around the world, like working and everything. And like, did you study, because Bruno, I know that you study business administration. And what about you, Illimar, as well? Did you study business?
So I studied finance and economics.
Okay.
And then how my journey continued was that on the second year of the university, one of my friends at the university, he was working at one US private equity fund.
Okay.
And then one day he came to the computer class in the evening and said that, listen, we really need like one analyst to like go through the balance sheets and all this stuff. Are you interested? And what was really cool, so because I had studied the balance sheets since when I was 15,
That's so nice.
So I went working there, and it kind of got off really, really well.
And so when you got there, you were an intern or like a estagiário, like in Brazil, call like an intern, or you already?
I was an intern.
Okay, and you stayed there for a few years?
I stayed there for like 6-7 years.
Nice.
So I actually, the university, which at that time was supposed to last 4 years, I was finishing the university in 6 years because I got so involved in the work.
Yeah,
I changed my daily classes later to the evening classes, then to the weekend classes, and it was actually a struggle in that sense to like get all these academic points and my university actually I always say was rather not the university but was this private equity fund where I worked.
Yeah. Nowadays, people think that the university is something that doesn't fit anymore in their life. But this is not true, because I always say, if it was not the university, I could never get in the bank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the same.
Yep.
Because I was studying there, they kind of wanted to hire me, but without the university, it's difficult. People have to embrace this like constant learning. And I remember, for example, when I went to work at this private equity fund, so what happened after the first day? I didn't go home, I didn't spend time with my friends, you know, I went straight to the bookshop and bought like 10 books about, you know, financial analysis, like markets, private equity investments, all of that, you know, and I started learning. And to this day, I'm actually learning every day. Like I'm studying new stuff. Yesterday in Madrid, we were sitting down with one of our partners in London. They are from the hedge fund space, you know. And I was so curious, like for 1 hour, we talked like technicalities, like how a hedge fund works, like how the risk is being managed, and how the trades are executed, like do they hide the trades, etc. Like it's so interesting. And my advice is like always to continue learning and embrace learning. And what I oftentimes like find nowadays as well is that for example, if I look at the brokerage firms where I'm mostly involved in, then oftentimes people who work like in the sales department, in the IT, in the in marketing, they don't have actually any idea about trading, you know. And for me, it's like really concerning, because if for example, I would start tomorrow working at like a TV station, for example, I would try to learn like how they are doing anything, like how what impacts what, and like try to educate myself of you know, the business and industry where I'm working in.
Okay.
And trading is the same. Like you constantly have to study new stuff, like new strategies, technologies. You know, hang out with other traders and constantly learn.
During this time that you were doing the analysis for the bank, did you start to trade with your own money already, or you had some like policies about, I don't know, inside
conflict of interest?
Yeah, like, or compliance that you could not trade as well?
So I made so the first investment, what I told earlier, this was in 1997 in August. I started working at the private equity firm in 1999 somewhere, or 98, I don't remember anymore. And because we were making investment into private companies, then I could trade also public companies.
Okay.
So there was no conflict of interest. Okay. So during the evenings, I was trading the markets.
Okay. And when you just start to work in the bank, you were not having to go to the bank to the girl that just call with somebody else and ask the quotes in the like when you were in the industry already working. You just could get a phone and say, hey, what's the quote of, I don't know, Pepsi?
So what was really interesting was that so one of the investors in the fund management company where I worked, you know, there was a guy from Soros fund management.
Okay.
So like real top-notch like hedge fund guys. So you were able to talk with these guys, like how they are trading and what instruments they are using and platforms, etc. And to me, like, a big shift in terms of the access to the markets and analyzing the markets was sometime around like 99, 2000, when I first opened an account with a US broker.
Okay.
It was, the broker name was Datek, which was later bought by TD Ameritrade.
Okay.
And so they had like real-time market data, like charting, indicators. Imagine like a guy that 2 years before that like was watching teletext from the TV to check every 15 minutes like the update of the price, and then suddenly you get this Datek, this like real-time super cool colorful trading platform, and you see charts like hundreds of stocks, like tickers, all. It's like, it was crazy. Like,
Bruno, when you started, like how was the step by step?
I was listening to you and I was remembering the first time I I had any contact with the financial markets. And it was 1997. My father was trading with Bradesco. It was, I don't remember if it was Agora Investments or something, but I remember the logo of Bradesco. And he was getting the quotes by fax.
Okay.
So each 30 minutes. So each 30 minutes, they had an update and they can send a fax. And it was the time of the Asian crisis, the tigres asiáticos, a crise dos tigres asiáticos. So the Ibovespa was going down and going down and going down, and we were getting faxes and faxes about those prices, and like my father losing a lot of money. This was my first contact. I remember I was, I don't know, 15 years old, maybe. But coming back, I really I heard you both talking about the dream and university, yes or no. If I could recommend anything to anyone, it's study and do a university, you know, because I really think that you study in economics or business administration, you will learn to learn. You know how to go to the books and get the basics of everything. Yeah. We can talk about valuations, but what is a valuation without accountant or the basic numbers that the university can teach you?
Yeah.
And in the other side, it's a nice moment to be in a university. You are 18, 19 years old. You have friends. I have friends from my university that they are my friends until today. Yep. And one is working with logistics, and I'm working with financial markets the last 20 years. So go to the university and study economics, business administration, financial. And if you can go not only online, and you can go there and talk to I have teachers that I remember then doing calculations, calcs in the dashboard until today. I remember the first class I have it was called Economics 1. And the first lesson was supply and demand.
Yeah.
The first. The first. So if you come the 2001 to today and you say, okay, what is about the markets? It's about supply and demand. Also, it's about prices. It's about how things work. What's the supply and demand of euro dollar? Why people they were willing to buy more euros than dollar. Yeah. And if you go back, so it's totally related with the financial markets. And I never imagined I would use that.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that like university gives you like the structure and the methodology to be able to like do your research like in any market or any like industry you want to do that like.
And Illimar, exactly when did you decide to change and to start your own brokerage? Or
both with me and with him as well. So while we were having like a normal daily job, you know, wearing a suit and stuff, at the same time we were trading the markets, and eventually we got to the point that where we had actually enough resources already that we could quit the job. So we bought one office in Estonia. We started trading there. Eventually we started capturing also third-party investor capital. Mm-hmm. We traded their money as well, and we were mostly trading futures and futures options. So futures market for us is like our
US market,
US futures market. So we feel very comfortable trading futures and futures options, and because we were active on this market, we had relationships with pretty much all of the major futures brokers in the US. So like Lind Waldock, which is not there anymore, R.J. O'Brien, MF Global before it went past, Interactive Brokers for sure, you know, and ADM, R.J. O'Brien, all of these brokers, and we were able to see like as traders, like what did we like in some specific with some specific broker. Like let's say in R.J. O'Brien we liked the customer support, and we liked it because they did it this way, you know. In Interactive Brokers, where you actually don't have customer support and you don't have a phone number to call, we like the technology. Like the DWS platform, I still even today consider one of the best trading platforms, because it's just like so customizable. You can build your products, synthetic products there any way you want, like cross assets, like cross calendars, anything you want to do that. And then my brother actually had worked at one FX broker. It's originating from Estonia. It's called Admiral Markets.
Okay.
And at certain point in time, when it was sometime in 2010, one of our friends from the high school came over to our office and said that, listen, guys, you know so much about the markets, you work with so many brokers, you know how the markets work, you know everything about the risk, and why you don't guys start this your own broker? Because at that time, we knew what other brokers are earning already. And we started figuring, okay, that we take all this risk here. We are doing so much trading. Then we had like investors who were calling us like every 15 minutes that like I saw like Dow was dropping 50 points now. Are we safe? And so you had a lot of stress there. And eventually we got to the point that we took a decision that we have enough capital. Let's start our own broker. I knew a lot of people from the fund times when I worked at the private equity firm. Okay. And I had built that like trust among this like investor community. And my brother had worked at before the broker. He worked at the Estonian Banking Federation. So there comes the banking connections. Okay. So we knew a lot of people, and most of the people knew that we are trading the markets. So when people had question, okay, what if I would place some of the capital on the markets? Then we got a lot of like interest from different like potential investors.
Yes. Also trading your own capital.
Yes. So we had like all the clients. They were mostly corporate clients who had like their brokerage account already with any of these brokers with whom we had worked already before. So a lot of them had with Interactive Brokers. And then they just gave access to us to these accounts, and okay, let's start trading, and that's how it was,
Okay. During this same period of time, you were working in...
I always work for the financial industry, and at that time I was working for an Israeli company that they were already working in Forex industry. Okay. So Forex industry was always in my background and in my life. And I was traveling the world and working for them at that time.
Okay. It
was a very interesting time.
Creating Tickmill, how was it?
When we started at that time, in 2010-11, so this industry was mostly unregulated. In Europe, for example, the regulations moved in like 2015-16. So there was like most brokers were offshore. Like you had no trust, you didn't know who are behind them. The average euro-dollar spread at that time was 3-4 pips. Like seriously, 3-4 pips.
So it was impossible to do the trading, or
it was there were like a lot of slippage, delays, execution was awful, etc. And
just one question about that time. The volatility was wilder or was almost the same?
It was much wilder. The moves were much more extended than
you had days of 200 pips in one day.
Okay, it's more like the market used to move 1-2%. Plus
Euro-dollar would easily move 1-2% a day. Pound-dollar could move like 3% a day. And I think the reason was that, a lot of these markets were manipulated, like the market participants, like banks. Later on, they started like clamping down on these consorted activities between the banks and where they actually move the market. So at that time, markets moved a lot. And when we looked at that market, we thought that, okay, hey, if we bring transparency to this space, if we lower the cost of trading, we make the execution faster, we operate in a transparent way with very good execution, then we can change that market. And we were so different from the beginning, and the reason why we were different was that because we started from Estonia. And we always had this complex that you come from a small place and then you have to prove yourself to everybody. So the time when we opened the first website, our pictures were on the website. The names were on the website. My mobile phone number, which I still have today, it was available on the website. And to put this into context, 99% of the brokers, you didn't even have an idea of like who was behind the company. Any names, nothing, was visible. And how we started building the market was, or the business was that we were super fast. So when most of the brokers at that time, and you had all this Wanda, FX Pro, FXCM, Gain, all of these guys were there, when the account opening was like 1-2 days, then we were opening in 5 minutes.
Right.
And like all the time when, for example, client was sending account application on Saturday or Sunday, they got an account credential in 5 minutes. So what happened then was that people went to forums and said that, what the hell is happening with this broker? I just sent an account application on Sunday evening, and in 5 minutes I got the account credentials, and I was able to deposit, and the money is on the account already. And we started to build a lot of this reputation that these guys are transparent. Yes, they are from Estonia, but at least, they do it in a nice way. Spreads, when all the others were having like 3.0, 3.5 on euro dollar, we had like 0.3, 0.4. When other brokers were charging like 35 per million of commissions, we had 20 per million up until this day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I think, transparency and consistently providing good service. And the reason why we wanted to do that is that because we had been trading on the markets more than 10 years by that time. And as a trader, actually how difficult it is to make money. I always say that trading is one of the most rewarding, but also one of the most challenging jobs anybody can have. And we always have this perspective up until today that when we provide a service to the traders, the least we can do is provide a good service. Because these guys are like fighting every day, with market news, geopolitical events, market movements, unreliable brokers, deposits, withdrawals getting stuck, so they get bombarded, traders, from all the fronts by difficulties. And that's how we kind of built the reputation. So imagine we have like 100,000 active clients, and they have trusted their money with us, and they know who we are. Like, so from the first day, the pictures, the names were on the homepage, and they are still on the homepage. So imagine the responsibility we as founders, owners, managers of the business have. Like every day I go to sleep, I just think that Jesus, like gold was going up today 60 points, dollar was dropping this, There are like hundreds of millions of positions open. Clients are expecting us to deliver every millisecond.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, 5, with crypto already 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Every millisecond they expect us to deliver. If we don't deliver, then they know who they should point their, let's say, complaints. And it's like a lot of responsibility that we have. Of course, we are now used to this because we didn't jump from this level to this level over a day. It was like a gradual growth. But sometimes when I play with the kids in the evening at home, and I just think that how much responsibility we have. You can go crazy. And the other thing what we've noticed over the years is that because in the industry, I would say in the FX brokers industry, there are 10-15 brokers that I consider serious, solid, brokers, and the risk or the challenge that we have is that anybody who works for Tickmill more than 3 years, it's like somebody all the rest want to employ, because we kind of nurture them and we grow our people, we support them with all the possibilities, tools, resources we have, and then we grow them to a level where they become extremely attractive for all the other guys out there. So like keeping the staff and keeping them motivated, that's like one of the biggest challenges that we have.
No, I would like to add something as an employee. And it's very interesting because I can do a challenge now with the people who are watching to this, because you go to our website and when we would click about us, there is all the management is there, the names and the photos and the pictures. If you go to other brokers, maybe I know sense of them. It's very hard to find the name and the photo in the website. So this is the first thing. If I am a trader, this is something that I would consider. But now let me talk as an employee. The next week I will be doing like 4 years in Tickmill. So I joined in May 2020, and it was a nice journey. Because I come from the financial industry. This is very aggressive. The way we use it to work, it's not the same way we do actually. And I remember when I was being interviewed by Illimar to start in the company, I asked him, what do you expect from me, to the region, to Portugal, from Brazil? What are the numbers? And he answered me, I just want to talk to you 5 years later, and the clients will start talking good things about us. That was the answer. They didn't ask me the target or money or how many clients or no. I just want you to work in 5 years. I want Brazilians to talk very well about Tickmill. Maybe we're doing something that way, but it was very interesting because when you see the competitors and how they deal with the employees, it's all about money and all about targets. Yeah. And I receive in my LinkedIn every week or maybe every 15 days proposals for any broker that you trade every trade. I got a proposal from them, and it's very hard to leave. And it's not only about money. We have a big team behind it. Yeah. People from funding, people from back office, people from compliance, people from legal, everybody who is supporting this guy who is in Brazil to trade, I don't know, Hang Seng in the night.
Traders, they don't understand like the kitchen side of the broker. Like it's like there are layers and layers of like infrastructure, operations, like responsibilities, task. It's unbelievable. Like,
in your opinion, and this is something that it's really important to know the point of view as a trader and as a broker founder. Do you think that the market creates any kind of manipulation to hunt stops or to do this kind of things with the retail client? What do you think about this statement that like the market or the broker or I don't know,
because somebody clients come and I was stopped out because these are dead.
Yeah, like that. Me do some context because
I love this question. And I will answer it like in a completely opposite way that anybody of your viewers will think.
Just you understand now. Be yourself. Just tell us what do you think about that.
Okay, so let's start from like the high level. So larger banks like hedge funds, they are always looking spots where they can create pain for somebody. Okay. So for example, if they know that if you like historically look at let's say commodities markets or gold as well, when some fund has been like short or long anything, and the banks on the other side or hedge funds know that they have limited resources. Let's take like Hunt Brothers, they try to corner the silver market, the banks try to, and the market makers, funds try to cause maximum pain. But they only do that when they see that there is enough reward. So I don't think that this, let's say the HSBC or JP Morgan trading desk is looking at some trader in Sao Paulo that he has a two-lot position in the short in euro dollar. That okay, let's try to squeeze this out. They look at the market as an aggregate, and they look at spots where by moving the market this or that way they can cause the maximum pain and make returns. This is what they do. Of course, there are limitations with the new regulations from recent years ago that the banks are prohibited to do the prop trading, but there are large hedge funds who do that. But for the retail ordinary client, this is not, the banks are not the problem. The problem of ordinary trader is the trader himself. And I will explain it why. So if you look all history of hundreds of millions of trades of Tickmill over the last 13, 14 years, 70-80% of the trades are always against the trend. So wow. It's not like that the market is moving because the retail is let's say short. It's the retail is positioning itself in the short side because the market has started to move. So for example, if gold starts moving right now with the $10 moves over the next few hours, with any $10 move, the retail traders are increasing exponentially their short position.
So each 0.5% of the gold that I increase 0.5% of the gold, the retail market, the retail clients they are just shorting more.
They are exponentially shorting the market. With every additional gain on the gold market or any other market, it's I think it comes not from the God but somebody else, but it's like this curiosity of the market that I have. I still admire how it works. Any move higher exponentially the retail is positioning against this move, so they are shorting, and then eventually it reaches the point where the aggregate, let's say, size of the retail crowd has the maximum pain. And if we look at the market, then majority of the stop losses and stop outs happen at the same position or in the market, because they have overextended themselves. They have, let's say, too much leverage as well, and this is how it goes. And if you look, for example, the gold move a few days ago, actually, when it was going up $70 in one day, 90% of the retail traders were shorting the market. They have this fundamental belief as if they know more than the market does. They are always fighting the market. They should embrace the market, but they are always fighting the market, always going against the trend, never having stop losses, never. Ever. 70-80% of the retail flow that comes to the market, they don't have stop losses because they think fundamentally that they are smarter than the market, always.
How do you trade? Following the trend, because probably is how you do it.
I mean, so when I trade futures, I look a lot on the seasonality of the market. So you come from Brazil, so the largest player in the orange juice market is Brazilians. So Brazilians have the crop sometime in the end of November. So when they have the fresh oranges, they press oranges out of them and they push this product to the market. So when you look at the orange juice market, then sometime at the end of November, almost every year, it's works not as a clock, but there's a 70% chance that the market starts going down. End of November, early December. So, and the trend is set sometime at that time. So if you go short that market, don't take it as an investment advice. It's not but with 65-70% probability, the orange juice market starts dropping at the end of November. The other thing is, if you look at the crude oil market, in 2008, when crude oil peaked at 147, it peaked at the end of July. Why July? Why it peaked at
Summer.
When you look seasonally as well, like over like 50-year time span, crude tends to spike always at the end of July, and the reason is that so the gasoline refineries, so they are buying crude to prepare for the U.S. holiday season. So they're always buying.
Yeah.
And when you know like the seasonalities, like these trends, then you can benefit from this. And you only need like more than 50% probability to succeed if you have
That's interesting to hear.
have your stop losses and you limit your losses.
Do you know that there is it's not that theory about 10-year cycle, there is a really clean 10-year cycle theory. It's not that theory.
Kondratiev cycles. It's one guy that through these cycles, maybe it's different, but Kondratiev was one of these guys who produced these cycles, and they have been quite accurate up until recent decade, because when the central banks started printing money and they are going to print it goes all on, it's like it kind of screwed up a lot of like this.
But guys, let me to ask a question to you both. We're talking a lot about markets here, and we're talking a lot about fundamentals. And this is something that sometimes I think the traders are missing. I think the traders, and I talk to a lot of clients every day, they are just talking about technical analysis and Fibonacci's and moving averages and etc. So my question to you is, we're talking here more than 1 hour about fundamentals. How about technical analysis? Do you use that to trade? Does it work for you, and how does it work?
Of course, I look at the charts. To be honest, I think I'm this crazy guy that before I go to sleep, I check the charts.
Double check.
Even if I don't have a position, I check the charts.
Let me just check.
It's just like crazy, and I've tried to get rid of this. Even leaving the phone, in the other room before I go to sleep, but it's still I want to check it. So, you have to check the charts. I think if you don't, I don't buy these guys that are saying that, listen, I'm not looking at the charts, etc. Because charts are giving you so much information. It may not always be 100% accurate, but it gives you some view of what's happening and what could happen, especially if you look longer time frames. Intraday, if you look at tick chart, there's no point looking at it. It also depends on what position duration you have.
But guys, do you in your graphics? Do you have a lot of studies?
I keep it very simple. So I have 25, 55, and 200 EMA.
Mm-hmm.
And RSI, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
After the Fed and all the central banks start to print money, after that, the indexes, they only have one direction. And if you put with the indexes, and if you put together the ETFs and the endowments and all these theories about passive investing, how on earth somebody will short the market? If the S&P goes 25% down, it's gonna be up in 2 months back again.
I oftentimes feel that we are living in some sort of matrix, because and no, jokes aside, I've been talking with my friends for 4 or 5 years already. When they have asked, okay, what is your view about the stock market? I've been saying that, listen, it's too much already. It should probably correct, And like you rightly say, it's because they're printing so much money.
Mm-hmm.
It's constantly just goes up, and so with stocks, I've been actually, quite wrong. S&P 500 futures, for example, I have never been able to trade successfully. So I don't trade like at all like these markets.
Yeah, last year I was totally wrong. Exactly what you say, because my strategy told me to short all the indexes, and I was right in the beginning and totally wrong in the end.
This is something very interesting because we have two big traders. I'm not a big trader. And you were telling, wow, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong. And this is the first thing I can recommend any people who enter to the market to ask before place a trade. And if I am wrong.
Yeah.
So if I am wrong, I have to use a stop loss. If I am wrong, I have to do some risk management because I can be wrong.
Yeah.
I can be wrong. So this is the first lesson that a trader must have.
I think if I've sometimes said to people that they should try to think in a way that let's say if they think this way, that if I could trade only one trade this month, what
a view.
What would it be like? So let's say you have an idea that you want to short gold, you know, and if you think in a way that if I can only make one trade this month, would I really want to short this market, right?
Yeah.
And this is very interesting, Murilo, because we receive a lot of ideas and we have a lot of things in the head and the mind every day about what to trade and how to trade. But imagine if you just can place one trade per month, which would be the trade?
Have you ever broke account? Have you ever lost all your money?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep. And another question, how did you recover? Like, what was the most difficult part of recover, apart from the money, of course? Like,
I think like for me like the most difficult part is the emotions.
Yes.
Like and like speaking very like openly, like I think I would have originally done much better if I had like a risk manager next to me.
Yeah.
I would have done much better because like I used to have like a lot of good ideas, but because of like very poor risk management, I was not able to succeed. So for example, when we traded together with my brother, then he's like more conservative guy. So I was like this guy that like, let's jump in, you know, let's do it. And then he would say that, but you know, hey, let's wait a bit, or let's got some position sizes. Yeah. So the most successful traders are the ones that have these two personalities in one person.
Do you have two trades? One that was really good and one that was really bad?
Probably the one that impacted me the most emotionally was in 15th of October 2008.
Okay.
Why I remember this date? Because at that time I turned 30 years old.
Okay.
And we had a birthday party at that time together with my brother Illimar. So we are twins, so we have the same birthday. And at that day, S&P 500 dropped not less than 10%.
Wow.
Imagine, the whole US stock market dropped 10%. And on that specific evening, we had a birthday party for like 50 of our friends. We booked a restaurant, everybody was partying, like having fun. Oh, happy birthday, Illimar, let's go to dance, you know, like all good, you know, and making photos and everything. And during that birthday party, I lost 100,000.
During the night?
During that birthday party, when the birthday party...
During the birthday party?
Yeah, 100,000 dollars. And the account I had at that time was 1.1 million. So I lost 10%.
Perfect.
In one single evening. And you can imagine, like, everybody's partying around you. You go home, you just check the accounts, and it's like emotionally, it was hard.
Yeah, I tell people, just don't think that is a dream, because it can be a nightmare, you know?
Markets make you humble. And actually, this is one of the, I would say, cornerstones of the success that we have had with Tickmill as well, is that when we talk to traders, we are honest about the markets. We never tell to the traders that, listen, you open account with Tickmill, you have in 5 days you're gonna make. We just tell up to the face up front that, listen, it's difficult job. It's not that 50% of the people succeed like any trading. Is it FX, CFDs, stocks, futures, options? More than 70-80% are not going to make ever. But the sense of honesty and transparency, builds a lot of trust. And also what I've noticed over the years is that traders tend to work with us because they know that we are traders ourselves. So they kind of feel that they are with somebody that, has felt the same pains that they have felt, has struggled the same struggles that they have struggled, has felt the happiness the same that they have felt happiness, when they've done some trade really well, so they kind of relate to us. They know that we are the same guys. And in comparison to a lot of brokers or financial firms out there, the owners, founders, they have maybe never touched the market.
Yeah, it's true.
And when you sit on a dinner table with them, what are you going to talk about? It's
very good marketing guys, but they are not a good.
If you just change them to a broker firm in Brazil or to a bank or to a rent-a-car business, whatever, the guys just don't know how to do business. They are businessmen, but they are not traders. Yeah, it's true. And
to be honest, sorry to interrupt. What I oftentimes I get a bit frustrated is that, for example, when I hire people and I see from the CV that this person has worked 10 years in the brokerage industry, and I ask that whichever field he's working, and I ask, okay, have you tried to trade yourself? And he or she says that no, I have never tried. And to me, it's let's say if you work in a milk processing factory, how could it be that you have never tried a product that is coming out from the factory?
Yeah.
I mean, don't drink it every day, but at least try, different flavor comes out, try it, we have different platforms, just open, demo.
Yeah.
It takes 5 minutes to open it, just check, try to press once a button, and leave the position open, see how it feels when you get losses or profits or just and it helps you to relate to the job what you are doing and actually become better in
what you guys think that is the future in, I don't know, 5 years or 10 years of the broker firms and the FX market with all these changes, and what do you think that is going to happen?
I think in general there's going to be a lot of consolidation because there will be less brokers out there and less financial firms, and we see it in the banking as well, And the reason being is that it's super expensive, super complicated to run a brokerage firm. So, for example, to reach profitability as a broker today, it will take years and tens and tens of millions of investment. So this means that there are not a lot of entrants coming to this market. There will be a lot less brokers in this space. A lot of the smaller, medium-sized brokers, they will stop offering the services because simply they cannot cope with the regulatory burden that they have. I mean, we have a lot of people just in compliance, risk, all of these aspects. FCA regulatory handbook is hundreds and hundreds of pages, and you need to hire people for that. So I think consolidation, I think the firms that will stay in this space, they will become much bigger, but they will also become stronger. And I think for the end client, it's actually better because there is more stronger, larger companies in this space, and it will add a lot of trust to this industry.
I think the same. If you see the last years, I don't know if you remember, but we had a lot of cowboys coming to the industry. We see in Brazilian, I can talk to you because of the Brazilians. They are very, very early adopters. Everything that's new, they want to try. So I talk to clients, and I was talking 2 years ago, mainly after the COVID. There's a scent of brokers. No, someone's calling me from everywhere, and now they simply disappeared they are not there anymore, or they changed the prices, or they changed the rules, or they changed everything. And what I can see that there are maybe 5, 6 big players that they are working for the future. The others, they are just doing some pocket money, and maybe they reach some level of money, some brokers reach some, and it's okay for them. So it will be, I see a lot of consolidation, and I see like the brokers will be like one-stop shop. You have to offer a lot of instruments to your clients. Because, for example, we have clients in Brazil that trade a lot coffee, that they trade a lot wheat. But the other clients, they trade a lot of euro-dollar or Hang Seng, I don't know. So you must offer, you must have a very good instruments portfolio to offer with the same value, that it's the pricing, the good support, and everything. And this is very hard.
Okay.
You see brokers that they have a very good offer in 1 or 2 instruments or 3 instruments, and that's it. I think that we are working to have the same kind of offer in many, many instruments. So that's what I believe will happen in the future.
What do you think about I know Bruno's opinion, but I want to know Illimar's opinion as well, about the prop firm industry and what's happening. I know that
in the prop space, I see like a lot of similarities with FX brokers 15 years ago.
Okay.
Like there are I think all Bruno's neighbors by now have their own prop firm.
Yeah.
Because I was like in one of the expos in Dubai like few weeks ago, and there was like a trading expo, and there was one company which offered to. So you go there and you invest $5,000 and they give you a prop firm.
I was reached by one of these guys.
It's like and it's like, but what about risk management? What about compliance? Legal?
No, nothing.
But it's like it's easy. Like we give you everything. Like it's and so you have like literally thousands and thousands of like prop firms coming online across the world, and exactly like was with FX broker like 15 years ago. So like why I entered this space was that it has like an historic aspect to it as well. So when with my brother we were trading third party capital, the eventual dream for us was that we eventually launch a hedge fund. And because the performance was already there, we started contacting like these hedge fund administrators and companies that help you set up the hedge fund, like in British Virgin Islands, in Caymans, in Luxembourg, etc. And in 2008 or 9, when we were dealing with that, nobody took us seriously. We were sending like track records, interactive broker statements, like, I mean, it's solid, it's very solid. We were sending out that nobody was interested.
And did you have like scale? You could scale up your strategy. You could scale up, or also something that,
because we were trading futures and options and futures options, so it's like highly scalable business. And so we never got to that point that to launch a hedge fund. And with the prop firm that I'm involved today, so that's the objective, that we want to give to these very good traders an opportunity to scale up.
Okay.
And to show to us that, okay, this strategy works, we invest into this strategy, and eventually our idea is that we gather together, like, let's say 100 stock traders or 100 futures traders, and by having these 100 guys that are trading different strategies, we could actually build like portfolio under a fund structure, which actually becomes interesting for investors, because you don't have just one guy that trades the fund. You have 100 guys that are trading strategies that are not correlated to each other. And it's like a filtering mechanism for us to eventually be able to launch investment funds. It's like in football, for example. So imagine you tell to like 5,000 guys who all think that they are like good football players. You tell them that, listen, we have all the top guys there, show us what you got, and then we like select the top guys, So it's like the prop firm that we are building, it's like choosing the best traders and filtering the best traders at scale and global.
It's nice because you give a opportunity to traders to access huge funds, and this is nice. But we see a lot of firms that they are scams or they are just selling challenges. And after they sell the challenge, they trade the rules. They change the rules. They change the rules. They change the rules.
I mean, this is the place where why I actually entered the space is that there is like big potential bring transparency to this space, like, and that's actually one of our competitive advantage, that we do things differently, like, and it's like over and over again, like exactly the same thing, like 99.9% of prop firms, you never know who are behind this firm. They cannot show you who they are because their intentions of running a prop firm are not like legit. Mm-hmm. So there's something that they do there that is not actually doesn't look real, you know. And they cannot compete with us because we are transparent. Yeah. And it's like a competitive advantage. And but of course it's very like difficult industry right now to compete in general.
I have my own withdrawals from other prop firms and everything, and the first time that I was like, okay, man, this is a real deal. Like,
yeah, it works. It's a super business model. Like it's with very limited risk. You know, you have access to a lot of like exposure and can earn performance fees. The struggle that most of the traders on the street have is that so if you go to Google and type today, prop firms in Brazil, you get like 100 responses. You go to any of these websites and they all look nice, like colorful, nice pictures. We have this, we have that, we have this platform, etc. And the struggle that clients have is like which one to choose, because they all look the same. You know, I think that regulators eventually we will move into this.
Yeah, for sure.
And this would actually be very welcome, because that would mean that 99% of the prop firms out there, these $5,000 guys, they would be out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's evolving. It's like Forex industry 15 years ago.
Okay. Illimar, so we can finish it, do you have any message for anybody that is watching us in English or as well in Portuguese?
My advice would be that whatever they do, they should try to find their angle. Like they should find their strength in whatever they are doing, like in trading, for example, their angle where they think they have an edge, and then follow this and stick to this edge. So, for example, if somebody works for like Coca-Cola in Brazil and he knows the beverage industry very well, and what impacts the beverage industry, then this specific person, through his contacts in the industry, he has an edge in trading the stocks in the beverage industry, let's say Unilever, Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, all of this. So stick to the basics and stick to the things that they understand, and not go overly into different asset classes. Because I've seen so many traders that, today in the morning they trade gold, tomorrow they trade S&P 500, the next day they trade dollar yen, and then they trade Tesla, and they kind of are jumping from one, like grasshoppers, from one field to another. So it's better to kind of learn where you are not good and understand where you have at least some edge, and then try to learn and educate yourself, stick to the people that can, mentor yourself and become good in that field.
Okay.
And then the other thing I would say is that trading is not for everybody. So that's why I like, for example, the prop industry as well, that with very little investment, in a few months, in a risk-controlled environment, you can understand whether you are good at it, whether you have at least some potential there or not. And so if trading is not for you, I would really rather look into investing, because it's a big difference, trading intraday and investing long term.
Okay.
And the third one is probably the most important thing, is not fight the market. those guys who enter the market and they think they're better than the markets, smarter than the markets, always fail. I've never seen a guy that is trying to pick the tops or the bottoms is going to succeed. Never.
Okay. The markets can be insane, much more time that...
and you can be liquid. Solvent, yes.
Yeah. It's a classic phrase. Like, I know in Portuguese, I don't remember in English, but it's a classic phrase. Like, and it's the truth. Like, the market can be wrong for a long time. You don't have the same pockets of the market. Like, you're going to have to stop. So just don't go against it. Like, just go with it. Yeah, it's true. Illimar, really thanks for being here, for this super honest talk. Was super nice. Brunno as well. Brunno is
thank you for having me.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that this is what we need in the industry. Like, people that are honest, are doing real business and are providing the best tools so people can try to succeed. Because if they can or cannot is with their own. Like, but we need to provide the best education in my what I'm doing. Like, my best education, you with the best platform, Brunno with the best support, and if we do our best, the best will succeed, and the people that cannot succeed will not. But at least we will provide the best tools, right?
That's it.
So really, thank you.
Thank you for having us. And
thank you. Congratulations, guys.
Brunno is one of the best guys to serve the Brazilian clients. He knows them. He speaks the language a bit, not so much. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.